It's Wisdom Wednesday, where you drive the agenda. On this segment of the Sales Gravy podcast, you bring your biggest sales challenges and Jeb Blount delivers his best answers. And those answers, they come straight from the trenches. Because Jeb's not just teaching sales, he's out there prospecting, closing, and leading sales teams every single day. Let's take that next caller.
All right, next up on the show is Brendan Carlington from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Brendan, what's happening up in Michigan?
Oh, it's beautiful up here. The weather's starting to change. Leaves are changing, getting a little cold. Football season in full swing. Going good. How's things down in Georgia for you?
Good. Football season's going very well here. Go Dogs. What's your football team?
Mount Pleasant, Michigan is where Central Michigan is. So obviously, fire up chips, got to have them going. And I got a little crap at my training session over this, but I am a University of Michigan fan, go blue. And it's a good time to be a Lions fan right now for the first time in my lifetime.
There you go. So what's that? Lions, Chippewas, and Wolverines.
Yep.
Well, we're Georgia Bulldogs down here in the great state of Georgia. So what's happening in your sales world?
So I jumped back into the sales world in March of this year in the auto industry. That's where most of my sales experience comes from. Things are really changing in the auto industry. We're getting away from having sales be sales positions. And the sales training out there for the auto industry, it's either outdated or there's a lot of snakeskin oil. And that's kind of how I discovered you and your company. I started looking up books and I was on Audible, just flipping through. And the title Objections really caught my eye. Listen to that. It's probably one of the best books I've ever listened to. I listened to 3 more books of yours. Asked my general manager to send me and another guy down to one of your trainings. We went and did your Fanatical prospecting training, boot camp training back in September. That was great. Also, my first time to Georgia and Atlanta. It's beautiful down there. I mean, are sales positions just going away in certain industries? I want to kind of your insight on that. And I think there's a demand. How does someone get into making training content specific for industries?
Yeah, the automobile industry is a great question. And we've spent a good bit of time in the automobile industry. As a company, we would be working on training specifically for auto industry. But there's been, like you said, a lot of snake oil people out there. It's been a pretty insular industry, and the training has been highly transactional. And I've been kind of waiting to the point where the auto industry begins to change the way that it looks at a customer. And I'll give you my take on this, and I'd be interested to hear how you feel about it. And I may be completely wrong about it. From Fanatical prospecting, staying in touch with your customers, building out more customers, everybody needs a car, everybody's buying a car, that matters greatly. But I want you to think about, like, what does a person who is buying a car, who is coming into a dealership, what is it that they want?
They want to have a good experience.
They want to have a good experience because, think about it. My experience, I'll give you an example. I bought a car a few years back. I just didn't have a good experience. And at that point, I'm like, well, why do I need to talk to anybody if I'm not having a good time buying it because I really wanted to go buy it? Why can't I just push a button and you just ship it to me? Because outside of that, what's the point? I'm about to go buy a new automobile and I'm hoping that I'll have a good experience. I want to go in and I want to talk to someone about the car and I want to go put my hands on it and I want to go touch it. So if you think about what you just said, people just want to have a good experience. What they're looking for you as the car expert is a guide. They want someone that's going to walk them in, treat them well, ask them great questions, get to know them, make them feel good about buying the car from your dealership. Everything that they want to know about the car, they can get before they get there. They can get on AI and they can know everything. They can even do all the negotiation before they get there. So they're not buying the car, they're buying you. Like they're buying the way that you make them feel. And so I think that what's missing in training is, how are we asking questions and how are we engaging those folks in a conversation that causes them to lean in, right, and explore all of their options and what they're looking for, but they've already made the decision to buy it from you. Like the close already happened. It's just a matter of getting them where they need to go.
When I work with new people, I kind of have, I look at everything as a game. That's kind of like my outline in life. In the game of selling cars, there's 3 conditions to win. Okay. I have to sell a car while the customer has a great experience and I make as much money as possible without compromising those things. Well, when you look at it, what does the customer want? The customer wants to buy a car while having a great experience. And if they buy a car and having a great experience, then they want me to make as much money as possible because they want me to stay around. They want to send their customers to me or their friends, the relatives, all this kind of came about me being here today. So let's say I had like a guide written out. How does one start writing and go from just a regular salesperson to like the Jeb Blount in the car world. I don't know, like
Yeah, well, I think you nailed it. Like you said, here's my framework for this. I've got a framework, a one call close framework for that type of sale that's really focused on, for example, at the very beginning, unpacking all their fears. Like I understand that they walked through the door with all the emotional baggage they've had about everything that they know about car salespeople and every experience they've ever had in the past. Like I have it, you have it. So you just said, okay, these conditions have to be in place. So what I would start with, if I'm you, and let's say you want to pull all this together and write it down or write a book about it or build something, is start with your frameworks. Like I've got to be able to teach people things that are easy for them to understand. So if you read my books, what you see is there's a lot of frameworks. And I love frameworks because frameworks allow us to have a set of rails to run on, but be able to flex in the context of the conversation with the customer. So I'm not like putting you in the box. I'm not telling you, hey, here's the script that you have to say, or here's some cheesy thing you have to do. I'm just saying, hey, these three things have to be in place. Now, for the customer to have a great experience, then what's the framework for that? Like, what's the framework for creating a great experience? If you were to ask me, it's like if the customer's doing all the talking, they're typically having a really good experience. If you're doing all the talking, they're typically not having a good experience. Okay. So then you break that down. So the key is that you think, okay, I want to teach something. How do I teach it in a way that people can remember it? How do I create frameworks that allow people to be themselves and execute on a system? And then how do I take something that is complex? Because it is, like buying and selling anything is complex because there's people involved in it. And how do I simplify that? That's called Friedrich's law. Friedrich's law is taking complex ideas and making them simple. And Friedrich's law simply says that human beings are really good at taking simple things and making them complex. And genius is taking complexity and making it simple. So your job is to take complexity and make it simple. And then from your standpoint, looking ahead, right? I think there is a case to be made in the car industry that if the experience of buying a car doesn't improve, why not just put cars online? Let me push a button, ship it to me. Like literally, why do I need a salesperson if it doesn't improve? There's also a case to be made that, especially, when you're talking about 80 grand to buy an SUV, we're talking about a lot of money, right? There's a case for people don't know exactly what they want, but they want to enjoy shopping for it. Like the car is an experience. It's not just buying a car. If I just need something to move me from one place to the other, there's a lot of ways to do that that doesn't give me the same feeling. You could make the case that, Brendan, you're going to change the way that we look at the car industry and say, we need car sales professionals, automobile sales professionals that are guides, that create great experience, that facilitate the process of a customer getting into the vehicle that they want. You're not like selling the car. They already bought the car. You're selling the experience of not just by the way of the car, but of the brand and of the dealership. So that they tell all their friends, like, that was insane. That was incredible. And that has nothing to do with the price of the car, negotiating, or any of those things. It has everything to do with how they feel.
I was just talking to one of my managers the other day. So I come from a corporate nightclub bar background. So I did for most of my 20s as a Vegas VIP host. And I was like, why don't we make buying a car fun?
Yeah.
What would we do to make it fun? And I'm not saying we have DJs play music and strobe lights, but I'm also saying maybe we do that. Like, I want someone to come buy a car and then bring their buddy back the next day just to show them how much fun it is here and like what creates that atmosphere and what causes that. And I definitely think as an industry, that's something that needs to be changed. And I think, I don't know, somewhere along the lines, I feel like the industry kind of gave up on the sales side where either they're going to like a one price, like you're saying, we can just buy it
Yeah.
online. But there's still so many people,
Yeah.
especially in the used car market, they want to touch it, feel it, smell it.
Yep. Well, in the used car market, it really matters because every used car is unique, right? So it's different than a new car. But even if all the prices were the same, like if you went in, we're going to have one price, there's no negotiating, you still need a salesperson because when people are unsure about a decision, they need someone to help them. And I just go back to the experience. I'm on the precipice of buying a new vehicle. And the thing that's holding me back is I just don't want to have to go through the awful experience of dealing with a car dealership. And I'm being honest with you as a human being. That's how I feel. If I knew the experience was going to be great, if I knew it was going to be a VIP experience, if I knew I was going to walk in and, people were going to ask me questions and actually care about me, and it wasn't so transactional, I probably wouldn't feel that way. Like I would feel like, hey, I already know what I want to buy. I know exactly what it is. I'm just holding back because I just don't want to deal with the hassle of it.
What are you looking to buy?
oh, you're going to try to sell me a car now. I'm either going to get a Tahoe or a Yukon, same automobile basically, but I'm going to get one of those two.
I work at a Ford dealership right now, so, only so much I can do there.
There you go. But that's the key. My phone's going to be ringing off the hook with people trying to sell me Yukons and GMCs. But the point is that if you said, hey, I think that we can change this industry and I think that we can do it differently, you have that passion, then lean into that, right? And then build that out. But think frameworks, right? You got context frameworks, you've got the philosophy and the idea, and then you've got to take the complexity and simplify it so it's super easy for people to consume.
Good to know. I really appreciate your time.
Very good. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. And if you move to a GMC dealer, give me a call.
Here's the real takeaway for anyone in automotive sales and really anyone in sales. Because the product itself is not your differentiator. The experience that your customer has with you is. Buyers can look up specs and pricing without any salesperson. But what they can't get without a salesperson is a trusted guide. Someone who asks the right questions, cuts out the friction, and makes that moment feel absolutely VIP. You need a simple framework. Plays that you can run every single time. A great greeting, discovery questions, options that actually fit, and a clear next step at the end of every single conversation. And don't forget about Friedrich's rule for great sales experiences. Your job is to take the complex and turn it into something simple that your customers can feel. When you consistently create a guided human experience, the price stops being the main story. You become the main story. And look, when you're tired, at the end of the day, when you just want to go home, always remember to make one more call. This is Jeb Blount Jr., and we'll catch you next time on the Sales Gravy Podcast.
Hey, I'm doing a happy dance because you watched this video. Make sure that you click like and subscribe so that you never miss one of our amazing sales training videos.